High cholesterol. The kiss of death. If your LDL cholesterol has crept up a little, it must be brought down because you're a heart attack waiting to happen. A high LDL cholesterol is often linked to metabolic syndrome. These metabolic anomalies increase the risk of developing cardiovascular disease, diabetes, even Alzheimer's. But there's a lot more to the story. In this episode of Better Body Chemistry TV, we put that high cholesterol in perspective. Better Body Chemistry TV is brought to you by Dr. Sandy, a scientist turned gremlin buster, helping you battle sugar gremlins, heifer lumps, and other health horribles like high cholesterol through better body chemistry. As we said, a high LDL cholesterol is probably not a sign of good health, but researchers from the University of Warwick have found cholesterol is not the biggest risk factor. The research team have identified 3 things which are far better indicators that you have a serious problem. Cholesterol is the one on everyone's radar, but 5 health problems are typically linked to metabolic syndrome. This includes high blood pressure, high triglycerides, high sugar levels, and high weight, specifically weight around the belly, aka a big tummy. Now, to qualify for a diagnosis of metabolic syndrome, you usually need to be able to tick off at least 3 of them, which isn't that difficult because insulin resistance coupled with chronic inflammation underpins the bad body chemistry at the root of all these metabolic problems. So high cholesterol, well, actually officially the trouble is not high LDL cholesterol but low HDL cholesterol, is just one of the symptoms associated with metabolic syndrome. It's worth pointing out that you don't have to be overweight to have metabolic syndrome, something which is not always appreciated by the skinny. And being overweight does not automatically mean you have metabolic syndrome either, but the odds are pretty high, and they get higher with each passing year that you are heavier than you should be. So, which of these 5 health problems really matters, if any? Well, the Warwick study picked apart the health happenings of 3,078 individuals with a diagnosis of metabolic syndrome. The big 3 turned out to be high blood pressure, high sugar levels, and high weight. What had marginal significance was the high cholesterol. But the real ticket to pinpointing troubled hearts is something not on the usual list of suspects. The multi-ethnic study of atherosclerosis, MESA for short, is a study that measured a whole bunch of things in 1,330 people considered to be at intermediate risk of having a heart attack. Among the things that were measured was the CAC score. This is the amount of calcium hiding inside the main heart artery. Other things that were measured were the ankle brachial index, the brachial flow mediated dilation, how thick the carotid intima was, how much C-reactive protein was present, which is a measure of inflammation, and whether the people had a family history of heart disease. The people in the study were watched for 7 years, and it turned out it was that CAC score that was the most helpful in predicting who would have a heart attack. So what does all this mean? Well, both high sugar levels and high blood pressure put a huge amount of strain on the integrity of the blood vessels. The cells lining the blood vessels need help being patched, and cholesterol is one part of that patch. But seriously damaged cells need more than a patch. They need to be replaced, and a special breed of vascular stem cells steps up to the party, replacing the damaged beyond repair endothelial cells. The trouble is that on occasion, the stem cells can get a little mixed up. Remember, stem cells can pretty much become anything. What happens is these stem cells morph into bone cells instead of a vascular smooth muscle cell. And probably it's these cells that are gathering the calcium, inadvertently turning the heart into bone. So fixing your cholesterol is not fixing the trouble and might be creating new troubles because, well, cholesterol is a patch. The key to fixing the trouble is to limit that damage to the cells lining the blood vessels. Want to know more? Visit our website and sign up to receive tips and strategies which will help you create better body chemistry so you can better manage being metabolically challenged. The advice is simple to follow and based on real science, not hype. Keen to help create more happy hearts? Then share this information with your friends and family and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Better Body Chemistry TV. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health.